Hi there, it's Christy with the Chirp YouTube channel. If you celebrate Christmas, then this is the video for you. I am going to talk to you a little bit about how to consider presents that your child might benefit from at Christmas time. I'm going to try to incorporate a lot of different areas that children need more interesting tools in their lives, and we're going to talk about things that they actually will enjoy. The first thing we want to consider is that many of the kids in our lives these days have sensory needs, and they don't always have the sort of sensory support that they need. If you have a grandchild or if you have a child who has sensory needs, then please check out this video right there. That's the most recent video that I did about sensory processing. And it has lots and lots of ideas about how to assess the areas where your child might need more support. If there's a child in your life who has some sensory needs and who requires more sensory input in some area, then it's a great idea to consider that as you're figuring out what kind of gift to give. For example, if there's a child in your life, your own biological child, or maybe a niece or nephew, or maybe a grandchild, who might need some more olfactory input. That is more input to the sense of smell. You might want to put together a sensory exploration box that has to do with different smells. Maybe some different lip balms, some different essential oils like peppermint or lavender, and some cotton balls, and some little Ziploc bags that the family can scent the cotton balls and then zip them in the Ziploc bags and have the child open them and smell them when she needs to. Perhaps some different spices that the family can put on cotton balls or just allow the child to smell. I recommend natural scents, so not your traditional over-the-counter, go to Bath and Body Works and buy something scented. That is going to be very offensive. That's a lot of chemicals and a lot of nasty, not helpful scent products are in those things. So please don't get those. I'm talking about products that are natural, that are edible if the child chooses to eat them, and also things that are scented with essential oils mainly, maybe fruits as well. Fruit scents don't tend to come across as strongly, so they're a little bit less noticeable. If your child is really interested in tactile exploration, do a similar box, but do it with all sorts of things that have different textures. Some felt, some pom-poms, some sandpaper, some pokey something. Be creative. Go to the dollar store, go to Target, and find a bunch of things that feel interesting to the hands and put them in a box and give that box to the child for Christmas. Also think about all of the sensory world that your child might want to explore in more detail, might need more support. If it's auditory sensory input that the child wants more of, where the sound of rushing water or animal sounds is available for the kid to listen to throughout the day. Maybe some musical instruments. If the child really likes proprioceptive input, so that is deep pressure that she can feel in her joints and her ligaments and her muscles and her tendons, then try some Chewy tubes. You can really bite on them and it gives that really nice pressure to the jaw and the head. Try a weighted blanket. My brother is 40 years old and his wife just got him a weighted blanket for his birthday in November. I would love a weighted blanket. They are rather expensive, so if you know someone who can sew and who can make a quilt, but instead of just making it normally, having some little sand bags or beans in the different squares, that is a fabulous idea. A weighted denim vest provides that sort of pressure as well, and also it looks super cute on little kids. Swings or slides or sit and spin items are always a good idea for kids who need more vestibular input because it moves them through space and it reminds them that their body is moving, which these kids need a lot more of. If your child likes more visual input, then consider things that are going to have movement in his visual field. Consider car race tracks, gearation, which I love. I talk about it all the time because it's been so beneficial for so many of my students. I can't stop talking about it. It's a game where you put gears on a little board and as long as they're touching one another, they all move by themselves when you turn it on. It's very cute. It's very cool. I haven't met a kid yet who doesn't like it, and most adults like it too. A marble run is always a great idea also. Usually the adult has to build the tower and then the kid can enjoy putting the marbles down. Eventually the child will learn how to build the tower himself. There are some simpler marble run type of games. I have one that is a very simple ramp and the children push the ball down at the top and then it just goes down 3 different levels and then it's finished. It's very simple, but it's very soothing for a lot of our kids. Another similar game to the marble run is a car ramp that it's wooden and the cars start at the top and then they go dunk, 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 and then they're finished. The cars are cute, the ramp itself is cute. It's a very soothing activity without any electronic stimulation. So it's nice for providing that visual stimulation while at the same time not being overstimulating, so the kid could do something like that before going to bed. Of course, you can consider the traditional route of getting kids books for Christmas. I always recommend ones that have a social emotional element to them because most of our kids with developmental delays or disorders have difficulty with their emotional state, with telling how they feel on the inside. That's called interoception, telling our own emotions, telling what's going on inside our bodies. And they also have difficulty with social interactions, with interacting with other people. Anything that you can find book-wise that is talking about feelings, recognizing our own feelings, recognizing other people's feelings, communicating effectively with other people, those kind of books are going to be the most helpful. And I will leave a few down below for you. I also have some on my website. Most of these things I have links to them on my website, and so that might be a helpful resource for you as well. As I mentioned in many previous videos, most of our kids with developmental delays have difficulty in the area of play. They don't necessarily understand how to do just open free play with dolls and animals, and so we have to support them along the way. Many of the items that I've already suggested would count as play items because the child is going to have fun and be flexible while using them, and that is a wonderful thing. We also want to provide the child the opportunity to practice using more open-ended play activity items. Open-ended play is where you could play with that toy in many different ways. Closed-ended play is where there's pretty much only one way to do it. So we're talking about the gears, the marble run, and all of the sensory items that we've discussed up until this point. We do, of course, want to push our kids a little bit, and we want to practice open-ended play with them. So we want to have items around the house like toy babies and toy houses and toy animals and toy boats that have to drive around, toy alien spaceships, toy fire stations, things like that, where we're going to be able to practice the people interacting with each other. Keep in mind that kids don't naturally do this when they've got a developmental issue. They don't usually naturally do open-ended play all by themselves. Usually they need to be coached, and so that's where the family members come in. We need to sit beside them and say, "Oh, baby is crying. Wah, wah. Is baby hungry? Or does baby need to sleep?" And we need to give the kid options. And she says sleep, so we change the baby's clothes, we wrap the baby in a blanket, we put her in her bed, and we say, "Night-night, baby." We demonstrate how to use the toys that we have purchased. We can't just buy these open-ended toys set them in the middle of the floor and expect the child to go crazy. Yay, I got a dolly. It's not going to happen for most of our kids. We have to coach them and model for them how to play with these toys because there are so many options. One of the things you can do with open-ended activities like this is to take pictures of the different things that can be done with that particular toy. So for example, with a toy baby, you can take a picture of changing her clothes. You can take a picture of her sleeping, of her riding in her little basket, of her eating, of her playing outside with her little toys. Whatever you can do with the particular baby that you bought, take pictures of those different things. Put the pictures in a little flip book or on a piece of cardboard, and your child can then start to coach herself. You're gonna have to still coach her at the beginning. Oh, look, let's look at our pictures. What can we do with our baby? Because honestly, if there isn't one way to do something, like with all the sensory things we just talked about, sometimes our kids with play issues don't know what to do with a set that is just wide open for them. There you have it. That was a fairly short and sweet video, and I hope that it gave you some good ideas for thinking about the particular child in your life, maybe who has a developmental disability, and being able to figure out what might be a good gift or a few good gifts or a good way of finding something that is going to really serve a purpose and not just be rejected in the corner. Support that child's development even when it comes to holiday gifts. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.